Hello, this is Shanker, and I will not use the word once again because I am there. I keep on talking about it. I like it. It's a stress buster for me. I like this um, science. I read a lot about this science, and after reading, I make notes and another notes, and then talk about it. It's a time which I spend on, and which I have spent for years together to learn the astrology. And my dad, he was a very senior bureaucrat. A lot of people know him, and he has written a book on Venus, which people still value and rate. He knew a lot of things. I mean, he had some rishi which he had taught him in Allahabad, and he used to tell me that he was in Allahabad University, and I'm born 1957, so sometimes when he was in BSc or something in 1952 or 51, long time back, he went to the ghats of Allahabad, and he was having a sort of kind of a sadhu sitting there, and he made him sit down. He says, what do you want? He says, I'm interested in astrology. I read astrology. I was reading astrology sitting on the banks of a river. He was not very well off. He used to sit in the night under the lamp and study, and gave us a good life, but and also became a very senior bureaucrat, traveled abroad, did make a name for himself in the field of vocational training and other things. He was a very senior bureaucrat, and but leaving that aside, what I want to tell you by all this is that he had intellect, he had discrimination, he used to think scientifically and talk about it, and he was the topper of the Allahabad University in MSc in physics at that time, and was Mr. C.V. Raman had taught him. So it's not that he did astrology with a mind which was like a pandit or blankly. So when he went to coming back to the whole thing, when he went to the guy who was the sadhu who was there, he used to tell me, he went him to sit down and just saw his face and made his exact horoscope. So he says, this is wonderful, I want to know about it. Please tell me. So sadhu said, it's like that. You come to me on the banks of the river, on that side, on the end of the bank of the river tomorrow there, and you will meet me there. You will see me there for sure. So he said, okay. Next day, time which he had told, he went to the bank of the river, and he asked, this particular sadhu who used to sit here, where is he? A poor man, where has he gone? Where is he? So he said, there he is on the pyre. So he told him, when he knew his death, he didn't want to tell him the secrets of what he knew, but he said, you come there towards the end, that particular place, and you will see me. Aap humko dekhoge. And he saw him. So that was the kind, I want to say, that was the kind which astrology was there at that time. So we have the concept of karmic debt, karma, which you keep on using in English today. It's all your karma. It is there. It's a fad to say karma. It's all karma. But there is karma. There is karma. There is energy which you are born with. There are two people who are born at the same time. One is born in the house of a billionaire. One is born in the house of a rickshawala. So how do you say that? It's because he's coming with some amount of energy. It's just like he's a bucket. That bucket is half full of water. The other bucket has, very minor millimeter of water. So, at the same time they're born with different circumstances. But yes, if you look at the pattern of the life of the both people, the pattern would be more or less the same. Events may happen in a different way. The pattern will be the same, but the ups and downs which will happen may be different in this thing, because you have about 40% by which you can work for yourself and do things. So you believe in astrology, you don't believe in astrology, you believe in religion, you don't believe in religion. I feel that this is the way it is. Now coming back to astrology, there's one particular thing which you should keep in mind, and this is very important, very, very important. Let's understand that certain planets, when they're together, they give the results of certain houses which is there. Sun and Mars together anyway will give the results of the first house. anywhere they are in the horoscope. So this is the first house. Guru and Venus, that is Jupiter and Venus, anywhere in the horoscope will give the results of the third house. You correlate it with the house which they are there. Mars and Venus together, anyway, will give the result of fourth house. I have Mars and Venus in my first house, but it has given the result of fourth house. I have a mother who is still living. I have had all luxuries. Not great luxuries, but the minimum luxuries of life. When the pressure cooker came, we were the first person to have it. When gas came, we were the first person to get it. Amongst the first few people to get it at that time, because my father was well placed. Anything which happened first, we used to get it. Telephone came, we got it. Television came, the small television, we got it. But it's not that from a small television I migrated into a big television very soon, or somebody flew abroad and got it. That was not me, but everything which I got. So Mars and Venus, depending on the strength, because my Mars is debilitated and Venus is there, but it gave me everything of the fourth house. It's there in my horoscope, so Mars and Venus, you look at it. Again, a very important combination, a very, very interesting combination. The people debunk Mars and Venus also. They say it's useless. A person becomes, he's characterless, etc., etc. I don't agree to that. We'll talk about it some other day. Buddha and Ketu together would give the results of sixth house. Sixth house today is enemies, diseases, and deaths. Diseases are all cured. Enemies, you can this thing, and debts today is very important. Everything from a car to a businessman, they all have to take debts. And also it depends on debts. Everybody is a beggar at some point or the other. Even the biggest man, the world's biggest billionaire will also be standing before an investor asking him to give money to do his business. So it's not that everybody is dependent on somebody else. It's a complex thing, which astrology also talks about. And to decode it, I say in that way, that even the biggest, you can name it in America, who must be the biggest billionaire, he's also dependent on some group of investors who are there for him to run his business and generate more wealth and capital, or do some things which will affect the nation. That's his destiny, and that's his role to play. You have Mars, Saturn, and together. If they're together, they give the results of 8th house. Mars and Saturn together will give the results of 8th house. Jupiter and Saturn together will give the results of 10th house or 11th house. 10th, 11th are very complementary to each other, but I would say Jupiter and Saturn would give the results of 10th house. 11th house, I would say 11th house. So this is how you have to see. You have to see the two planets together. It doesn't mean that if it is in that house, it will give the results of that particular house. You have to see which result which it will give. And like Venus and Mercury together will give the result of 7th house. Venus and Mercury together will give the results of 7th house. Mars and Saturn, I've already said, 8th house. Jupiter and Saturn would give the results of 11th house. So irrespective of where they are, these two particular conjunctions will give you results of that particular house. So remember, like Sun and Mars together, anywhere will give you the result of first house. Your Sun and Jupiter together, anywhere together, will give the result of 5th house. So you have to see it in that way, in this particular context, you see how it is. A very strong Jupiter gives the results of 9th uh, ninth house. It's one planet which is independently can do a lot of things. But most of the places where two planets are together will give the results of the other house. Saturn and Buddha together in any house will give you money. 11th house again. So you have to see that anywhere the conjunctions are there, they may be at any other place, but they will give the results of that particular house. You relate it. Like, for example, I have Mars and Venus in my first house, but it will give the result of fourth house. First house is myself, fourth house is what I've explained to you. So that is how it will give you the results. So, it will not give the result that Mars and Venus means that you become, promiscuous and you start going after ladies. I know another horoscope of a person who is very religious, who is excellent, and who's also a multi-billionaire, and who has generated a lot of wealth, of high intellect, and he has Mars and Venus in the first house. There's no question of his being a debauch or going after ladies. He has debilitated Mars and Venus, like me, in Kark Lagna, right? So Mars and Venus will be in the first house, will give the result of fourth house. His Mars and Venus is strong because it is 12th to Moon. His Moon in the second house, so it has given him a great amount of luxuries, which would be about 1,000 times more than 1,000, maybe 10,000 times more than me. So that is how you have to look at the horoscope. I mean, I hope you understood this. This is a very important concept, and if you apply it, it will give you very good results. The video is very long now. I'll close it, and thanks, and bye for now. Do subscribe to my channel. It motivates me. Thank you very much.